Greetings builders, Daniel here and welcome to another top 3 video where every week I choose a topic and show you my 3 favorite builds of it. Today's video is for those who like to be close and personal. I'm talking about the melee builds, and if you wanna try any of those you can find a complete guide in the first comment or in the video description. And if this video helps you, please leave a thumbs up to support the channel. Thank you very much and let's get into it! Let's start our melee selection with the insanely fast flicker strike invoker with the Monk class. If you come from Path of Exile 1, you know that flicker strike is one of the favorite builds out there. It consists on consuming power charges to teleport your character from pack to pack of enemies, leaving a long trail of destruction along the way. To list the pros of this build, I don't even know where to start. It's super fast, tanky and can kill big bosses in seconds. It just has it all. Another good thing to point out is that it doesn't need any mandatory unique item. Now to list the cons, I must say that unlike PoE 1, here we can't keep flickering forever. We need to stop to stack power charges from time to time. But don't worry, when this happens we're going to use Ice Strike, that is also a great and fast skill. Talking about the budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying low tier maps with only around 35 exalteds. To advance to mid tier maps I recommend around 80 exalteds, and for the high tier around 4 divines. This might look a little expensive, but before advancing to high tier maps you're going to drop a lot of exalted orbs on low tier ones. Don't forget that on PoEbuilds.net you can find a list with all the equipment that you need to buy for this build, with direct links for examples being sold by other players. For clear speed I'll give this build 10 out of 10. Flicker strike is so fast that you're going to take more time getting the loot from the floor than killing the monsters themselves. It's amazing and satisfying. The boss damage is awesome and deserves 9 out of 10. You just need to place the bell close to bosses and your Ice Strike will do tons of damage. It's the kind of build where you can do lots of DPS with low investment. For the survivability I'll also give it 9 out of 10. Here you have over 70% chance to evade, 65% armor and even a big energy shield. When the build is complete it's hard to die even on high tier maps. Next, let's smash some enemies with the Hammer of the Gods Titan with the Warrior class. I'm gonna be honest with you guys and say that I wasn't really excited to try the Warrior class, but man how wrong I was. This ended up being one of the most fun and well-rounded builds I've ever played. It's fast, strong and with an amazing survivability. I can't believe I almost missed all this fun just because of simple peer pressure. To list the pros of this build, I don't even know where to start. With Stampede you keep charging towards enemies and slamming the ground, exploding the whole screen. It's super satisfying and the perfect build to play when feeling somewhat frustrated with life. The boss damage is out of this world, and the survivability you see that this build is almost unkillable while clearing high tier maps. Last but not least, I need to say that this build also comes with 20 extra inventory slots, and I love that. Now to list the cons, the main issue of this build is the need of strength. We're picking Giant's Blood on our passive tree to be able to use a two-handed weapon and a shield at the same time. This grants the incredible damage and survivability of this build, but it doesn't come for free. Now your weapon requires 3 times more strength, and that's why we need to look for a lot of it when gearing up. Talking about the budget, this build is cheap. You can get it destroying low tier maps with only around 60 exalteds. To advance to mid tier maps I recommend around 100 exalteds, and for the high tier around 6 divines. This might look expensive, but before advancing to high tier maps you're going to drop a lot of exalted orbs on low tier ones. For clear speed I'll give this build 9 out of 10. As mentioned before, Stampede keeps you running and exploding all the enemies on your way, especially because of Herald of Ice. It's powerful, fast and fun. The single target damage is incredible and deserves 10 out of 10. When combining all buffs on you and debuffs on enemies, you'll be killing tier 15 bosses with only one Hammer of the Gods, and this build can drop 2 at a time. For this survivability I'll give it 10 out of 10. When you get your Surrender Shield and Block Chance on your passive tree, most of enemy hits will restore your life instead of dealing damage. It's super safe to clear high tier maps this way. And finally in first place we have the ultimate build, the Tempest Flurry Gemling Legionnaire with the Mercenary class. I know that when you guys hear about attribute stacking you instantly think that it costs hundreds of divine orbs to make. But no, to put your hearts at ease, I'll let you know that the results you're seeing on this gameplay were achieved with these attributes, that is totally doable with something around 10 divine orbs. To list the pros of this build, I don't even know where to start. It has an incredible clear speed, amazing boss damage and high survivability. It's just a build where you can have it all and be happy. I'll let you know that I was kind of sad when I finished recording and I knew that I was going to start another build. If I could, I'll keep playing this one for a while. Now to list the cons, I have to say that even though this build is cheap when compared to other attribute stackers, it still costs around 10 divine orbs to make, and that is not affordable for everyone right away. Another issue is that this build needs 3 mandatory unique items and it might be hard for you to cap your elemental resistances. Now talking about the budget, as I just said, this build is not cheap. You need at least 10 divine orbs to make it work. You need 3 mandatory unique items for this build. The first one is the Pillar of the Caged God that grants 2% increased arrow effect per 5 intelligence, 2% increased attack speed per 5 dexterity and 10% increased damage per 5 strength. Next, we need the Hand of Wisdom in action that grants 3% increased attack speed per 25 dexterity and lightning damage per 10 intelligence. Finally, we also need the Murdering Victor's body armor with increased attributes and spirits per socket runes. This armor can hold up to 4 runes at a time, which means up to 20% increased attributes and plus 40 spirits. On the cons, I said that it was hard to get elemental resistance on this build. To remediate that, you can get plus 20% to all elemental resistance here using soul cores. For clear speed, I'll give this build 10 out of 10, and I'd even like to say 20 out of 10 if I could. You never stop moving and your attack speed is so high that using Tempest Flurry will actually make you faster than just walking. Since Pillar of the Caged God grants this much arrow effect, our Herald of Ice explosions are huge and can kill enemies way beyond their line of sight. You clear so many maps per hour that this build is going to pay itself in no time. The single target damage is also amazing, deserves 10 out of 10. You have so much damage and attack speed that you are going to deal tens of millions of damage in just a few seconds. It's great to kill big bosses with this one. For this survivability, I'll also give it 10 out of 10. You have a big pool of life and energy shield to keep you from taking big hits, and all of that combined with over 70% evasion chance. But the best part about the survivability is that 90% of enemies are going to die way before having the chance to get near you. And that's it for today, guys. What do you think about those melee builds? Please take a second to tell me your thoughts in the comments and leave a thumbs up to support the channel. I wish you guys an amazing day, and don't forget to keep building!